welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. We did almost 3 hours with Ross Turetsky, which is why we're doing this broadcast of fantasy football not at 10 a.m. this morning, but instead doing it at noon Eastern time. So under promise, over deliver. You've had almost 3 hours of show, and here's even more show for you today. I want to thank you for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and I want to thank God for always helping me helping me to find a way to get on and get out to you no matter what is put against us. I thank God for always bringing us to you. So, God love you. I appreciate you. Let's have some fun this morning talking about fantasy football. We're in the Fantasy Football Power Hour, NFL Week 12 of the 2025-26 season, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, open 7 days a week. Go and visit them for all of the amazing food that they have, the great atmosphere, of course, their party room. They are a great place to go on a date with the girls, with the guys, with your friends, with your family, with your kids. They find a way to have it all function together. There could be a meeting going on with police enforcement, and at the same time there's a children's birthday party, and there's fantasy football people getting together as well as trivia. I mean, they can make it all come together at the Wildcat. That's why I love working with them, and I have a lot of respect for Danny, and it says a lot about an owner when you see the same faces continue to be there working on the team. That's not something you see every day. It's not something you see a lot, as always, anymore, but it just goes to show you that there's so much more than just a place to work. They are a true family at the Wildcat. And of course, we have our West Genesee shows of over 8 years supporting the West Genesee Wildcats sports programs and bringing the community even closer together, as well as being a part of GG Cards and Breaks Trade Night and having our fantasy football leagues at the Wildcat in Central and Upstate New York. So shout out to the Gridiron Gurus, as well as to the Captains on Call leagues that we have at the Wildcat fantasy football of over 8 years. So God bless, and many thanks to Danny Tome and the team. With that being said, inside of Week 12, we're going to start with Thursday Night Football, and we're going to go all the way to Monday night. Do not play anybody on the Broncos, Chargers, Dolphins, or Commanders. They are all off this week, so do not waste those positions on your fantasy team. Let's hop right into it by getting into the first game here, and we're going to go to that Thursday night matchup, the Bills at the Texans. So the Bills going up against the Texans, and we're going to start with the Bills as the Bills are the road team. We always start with the road team. So let's go to the Bills first and who you should play in this game. So obviously Josh Allen, James Cook. I would also say, I mean, looking at Dalton Kincaid, he is going to be out for this game. So Dawson Knox has some value. And of course, Jackson Hawes has caught a couple of touchdowns this year. And as the rookie that we have on this team that's done a good job for the Buffalo Bills, the rookie out of Georgia Tech. So I would say a sneaky player to put out there at tight end is Dawson Knox or Jackson Hawes, but I do like James Cook and Josh Allen, and Khalil Shakir or Keon Coleman, I'd flex them out. I'm not putting them as one of my top two receivers, but hopefully they could do something for you in this matchup, especially because the Texans have not been a great team this year, and they've kind of been all over the place. But Davis Mills, like we talked about, had that 26-point comeback in the game at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars to get the win 36-29 after being down 29-10. Speaking of the quarterback situation, C.J. Stroud is still out there with a concussion protocol, and he's going to be out this week, which means Davis Mills will play. Woody Marks or Nick Chubb. I'd say Woody Marks is a low-end 2, high-end 3 at running back. I'd put Nick Chubb behind him. I like Nico Collins. Jaden Higgins as a flex out, and Dalton Schultz, I'll put him as a mid-range to low-range tight end 1, just because Davis Mills being out there kind of leaves some things up in the air, but he's also been able to move this offense. So I do have some positivity that I'll put out there with the guys, but I think that the fantasy value truly does lie in what we're seeing on the side of the Buffalo Bills. If you have a question, make sure you send it in. Happy to answer your questions. And if you're listening on the playback, then send it to us on Facebook. You can direct message me at WakeUpCallDT. You can also direct message me on X at CallDT. and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. So make sure you do that so I can answer a question if you have it, especially if we're in the 11th hour and it's crunch time and you're trying to figure out your fantasy football squad. So let's go to the next game here. Jets at the Ravens. The Ravens have been underwhelming, and the Jets have just been one of the worst teams in the country this season, which is really sad to see because, people had high hopes for the Jets. But like I said, they mortgaged their last couple of years on hoping that the project with Aaron Rodgers was going to work, and it just didn't end up working. And that is something that, it happens, and you got to deal with that. You got to deal with those problems as they come. So looking at the Jets first and foremost here, this is an easy one for me to talk about when we're speaking on fantasy value. I'm going to make it very simple for y'all. Breece Hall, Tyrod, every quarterback has their guy, as I always tell you. And with every quarterback having their guy, it puts us in a position of saying, okay, well, who's the guy going to be for Taylor? And it could be Adonai Mitchell. It could be John Mechie III. It could be Isaiah Williams or Tyler Johnson, a name you don't know. I'm going to say if you're going to play anybody on this team, I would look at playing Breece Hall, and I'd look at playing Mason Taylor. I'd watch Isaiah Davis, and I watch John Mechie. If you want to flex John Mechie III out, that's something you could do. But I'd say your best bets are Breece Hall or Mason Taylor at this point in time on the Jets side. On the side of the Ravens, I'd look to play the Ravens defense and special teams just because of the matchup, but maybe Taylor's going to be running these guys in the right direction. I like Lamar Jackson. I like Derrick Henry. I like Zay Flowers. And Mark Andrews in this game, I just temper it a little bit because of the fact that Mark Andrews is in a place, unfortunately, where he's not had the season that fantasy owners hope because him and Isaiah likely have been working together. Bryce and Patrick both sent questions in us, so we're going to get to these, and I'm just going to let you all know here. Bryce, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell here on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as you can go and find us on Facebook at wakeupcalldt, X at calldt, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. So make sure you do that. But Bryce and Patrick, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell here on our YouTube channel as your questions are here. And we're going to answer those questions as they come in. So we'll get to the questions that we got early on. Bryce said, should I trade Ladd McConkey and Cortland Sutton for Waddle and Keyshawn Boot? I feel like Waddle has high potential. He does, but I wouldn't do it. Bryce, I would not make that trade. The reason why I would not make that trade is because Ladd McConkey is still the main target, if not the top 2 target for the Chargers, and Cortland Sutton is a target as well for the Denver Broncos. I do like Jalen Waddle. Keyshawn Boot, listen, they've been spreading the ball around. Keyshawn Booty, they've been spreading the ball around for the Patriots. So I just don't think that that's as good upside that you can get back, especially with Ladd McConkey. And don't count out Cortland Sutton. Patrick said 12 team, and he is 7-4 in a PPR league, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex. Trade Sutton and Woody for Waddle. His running backs are Gibbs. Bryce said, bet, thank you. You are welcome, sir. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you tell your friends. We are here every Wednesday with fantasy football coverage, typically starting around 10 a.m., not at noon, but we had a longer first part of the show today, so I appreciate your patience. And, of course, you can find all of our fantasy football coverage by subscribing to our channel, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and you can go to our fantasy football tab, which has all of these shows. So, Bryce, make sure you let the people know, and I appreciate you being here. Patrick said trade Sutton and Woody for Waddle. So you have Gibbs, Travion Henderson, R.J. Harvey, Woody, Bajal Tutin, and you have Wilson at your running back. Your wide receivers, you have CeeDee, Abuka, Sutton, Brian Thomas Jr., and Alec Pierce. So it's trade Sutton and Woody for Waddle. Yeah, I'm okay with that trade. I'd like to see you get 2 players back, but I'm okay with that trade, Patrick. Based on what your team has, I'm okay with you letting go of Woody and, getting Waddle for Sutton. I'm good with. It's just with Bryce's trade, giving up McConkey is something that I didn't want him to do for Waddle. So I'm okay with the other trade. See? So sometimes I will say yes to a trade that involves similar names, but it's just what is the full value of that trade? And also, who do you already have on your team? Because some people would say, well, why'd you say trade Sutton here, but not Sutton here? It's because of who's on the team, and it's also because you're not giving up Ladd McConkey. So thank you for the question, Patrick, and make sure that you follow us here. He said, look for a 2 for 2, but his other players are doggy. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'd still ask for somebody else, Patrick, just because, if you're going to give up 2, I'd still look at asking for somebody else. Why not, right? The worst thing that they can say is no. So, like I said, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. I'd look to Mark Andrews in this game playing the Jets, but I'd also temper my expectations because of where things have been here. So, just and that's speaking on the fact that when it comes to the Jets, to the Ravens, it's hard to assess exactly how much Mark Andrews is going to get with Isaiah likely being utilized as well. Let's go to Steelers at the Bears. 2 teams that have been playing pretty well here. Like I said, I think the Steelers were going to be a team where the Jets are going to scratch their heads and say, why couldn't he do that for us? I'm not wishing bad on the Jets. I just feel like that was my vibe. It was like Aaron Rodgers is going to look more like Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh, and then they're going to think that they're cursed in New York. And it's like, baby, God exists. There ain't no curses out there. So let's go out and spread our love here, and let's not believe in witchcraft and curses and all that. Let's believe in God. So hoping for good things for the New York Jets as they go forward, but I think Pittsburgh's got some good things going on. They're 6-4. Aaron Rodgers, though, he is injured. He's questionable. He has a wrist injury, so just monitor that. Jalen Warren is questionable as well. So your best bet to put out there, in my opinion, right now would probably be a Darnell Washington, and we've seen him get utilized here, or a Pat Freiermuth. If Mason Rudolph goes out there, he has some history with the Muth, so the Muth is on fire. So I look at potentially Pat Freiermuth. I'll call him a low-end 1. Darnell Washington, I'll call him a low-end 1 at tight end as well. Probably a high-end 2 for him. DK Metcalf, I'd temper as a low-end 2, depending on who's quarterback. And then, Caleb Johnson or Kenneth Gainwell, that's a flyer, flex out a running back if Jalen Warren isn't able to go in this game. On Chicago's side, Caleb Williams, I told you that he would have the opposite of a sophomore slump this season, and he has lived up to that prediction. The team is 7-3, Chicago is. I like DeAndre Swift in this game, and Kyle Monangai, he's done some good things when Swift was hampered. So Monangai, I would say, if you want to flex him out as like a running back 3 or 4, a 3 in a deep league, a 4 in a non-deep league, but I like DeAndre Swift in the game. Still looking at Monangai maybe doing something. I like Colston Loveland. I like Rome Odunze and a DJ Moore. And then, with this offense having a bunch of injuries, if the offense isn't moving the ball and Pittsburgh's having to play defense on the road at Chicago, I like this game more for the Chicago players if this offense is dealing with those injuries. And hopefully guys will be healthy and able to go. I probably wouldn't put Caleb Williams out in this game, but it is something to look at. Jacob sent us a question here, so we're going to get into it. We got the Patriots at the Bengals. So Jacob here, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We may have just answered your question as I looked at it quickly, finishing my talk on the Bears. He said, would you start Caleb or Brissett this week? I would probably... Brissett's playing the Jaguars. Between the two of them, Jacob, I would say Caleb over Jacoby this week. To answer your question, Jacob, and like I said, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I know I just said I probably wouldn't start Caleb Williams in the game, but like I said, specific team questions, when you're looking at Caleb or Jacoby, I don't like Jacoby's matchup with Jacksonville. I like Caleb's matchup with the Steelers a little bit better. Like I said, if those injuries are hampering Pittsburgh's defense may be on the field longer than their offense, which could be obviously better for the Chicago Bears. Let's go to the Patriots and the Bengals. And the Patriots doing a lot of good things here under Mike Vrabel, and I've talked about him before, so make sure you go back and listen to the shows. I actually predicted that he should have been the head coach 2 years ago, and not he should have been the head coach last year, as opposed to waiting until this year. So I like Drake May in this game. I like Travion Henderson in the game. I like Stephon Diggs in the game. Keyshawn Boutte is questionable with a hamstring injury, so God bless to him. Hopefully he'll be well. I look at potentially playing a Mac Hollins as a flex and Hunter Henry at tight end. On the other side for the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Flacco's proven to be good and do some good things. I like Chase Brown in the game, and we know Jamar Chase is suspended until week 13, so that gives some more value to T. Higgins and maybe flexing out an Andre Yasivas here at wide receiver. But I think there's more fantasy value on the side of the Patriots, although there is still some fantasy value because Joe Flacco likes to sling it, and you should respect him. Giants at the Lions. Let's get into the Giants at the Lions game. The New York Giants have not been great this year by any stretch of the imagination. They're 2-9 on the season, and Jackson Dart is still on the injury report from that concussion. God willing, he'll be okay. I think in this game against the Lions, Wendell Robinson or a Theo Johnson. You can look at Theo Johnson here at getting some action because he's continued to get action. So I look at Theo Johnson as a mid-range tight end 1. I like Wendell Robinson in the game as a wide receiver 2. And really, that's it. If you want to put Tyrone Tracy out as a low end 2, high end 3 at running back, I can understand that move. But you'd like to think that Detroit, who's been all over the place this year at 6-4, the expectations were a lot higher for them this year. But I would look at Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, all being out there for you. Sam Laporta is on injured reserve and is not expected to return from a back injury until week 15. So God willing, he'll be okay, which means you could see Ross Dwelly or Brock Wright out there. But I would say Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jamison Williams. We're going to take a quick step aside for a fast break inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. This is the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. And we are happy to be here with you with NFL Week 12 of the 2025-26 season. Stay with us. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company. With locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. We have a delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Caz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad, despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here. We just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have the place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, we are here with you in the Fantasy Football Power Hour, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 7 days a week, open to you to dine in on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York, for drinks and fantastic food. And you can also go to Takeout and Delivery by calling the Wildcat at 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222. We appreciate you all watching and listening up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe. And obviously appreciate the Wildcat being the home for our Central New York leagues, the gridiron gurus and captains on call of over 8 years. And I thank everybody for being in those leagues and the fact that our leagues have capped out. So from here forward, we're going to be opening up some other leagues at the Wildcat, it looks like. So thank you for that. God is great, and I appreciate y'all for being a part of it. And truly thank God for everything working out, because we've had a lot of wonderful people join our league, so I'm thankful for that. Let's go to Minnesota at Green Bay. If you have a question, send it in to one of our feeds. Happy to answer your question. Let's take a look at Minnesota. So Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy. Listen, I'm happy that J.J.'s back. He did some good things. You don't want to see him go out. It was a travesty to see him go out, but to have him back here, it's definitely good to see him on the field. And what he's done most recently, we'll take a look at that and how things have shaped out for the Minnesota Vikings, who are 4-6 on the season. They lost the game against the Bears at home 19-17, despite scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter to come all the way within 2. In the game, J.J. McCarthy, 16-32, which means he completed as much as he didn't. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Aaron Jones, 70 yards on the ground, 16 carries, 4.4. Jordan Mason, 6 carries, 44 yards, 7.5 yards a carry, and a rushing touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 9 targets, 5 catches, 61. TJ Hawkinson, 6 targets, 3 catches, 39. Jordan Addison, 7 targets, 2 catches, 20 yards, but one of those 2 catches was for a touchdown. Jones caught 3 of the 6, throwing them out of the backfield as well. Jalen Naylor got involved with 1 catch on 1 attempt thrown his way. They're playing Green Bay, and as we take a look at Minnesota, they have not played Green Bay this season. They're going to play them twice here. They're playing the last week of the season as well. That game's going to be at home. This one's on the road. I probably wouldn't go with J.J. McCarthy in the game. I'm going to call him a mid-range to low-range quarterback 1. Maybe you go to him this week if you have somebody off or somebody injured. Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. This is a toss-up here. I'm going to call Jordan Mason a low-end 2. I'm going to put Aaron Jones right behind him. I like Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, and Jordan Addison in the game, though. On the other side of it, for the Green Bay Packers, as we take a look at the Packers and how they've shaped out so far this season. The Packers, I've told you, year in and year out, they are the perfect example of an enigma. This season, they're 6-3-1, and they just beat the Giants on the road 27-20. We take a look at this matchup. Jordan Love, 13-24, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 174 yards. Emmanuel Wilson had a rushing touchdown, 11 for 43.6. Josh Jacobs, 7 for 45.7 yards a carry. Romeo Doubs, he led the way, 8 targets, 4 catches, 53 yards, but Christian Watson had 2 touchdowns on 4 catches, 5 targets. Matthew Golden continues to not have much to write home about. So in this game, I think it's going to be a closer, low-scoring game. Josh Jacobs still on the injury report with a knee injury. God willing, he'll be okay. If not, Emmanuel Wilson in this game, I'm going to call him a flex out. In a deep league, a running back 2, maybe a running back 3 in a non-deep league. Romeo Doubs, I'd still start over Christian Watson. I'm going to call Doubs a 2. I'm going to call Watson a 2, but a little bit behind Romeo Doubs. I don't know if I'd play Jordan Love in this matchup. Let's go to the next one that we have here. The Indianapolis Don't Call Me Colts. They're so good. And the Kansas City Chiefs. Could this be the AFC Championship game? Will the Chiefs even be in the AFC Championship game? Will it be Colts versus Patriots? A lot of questions we didn't think we would be asking, right? But we are asking right now because the Colts have been good and so have the Patriots. The Chiefs have looked more like themselves, but they have struggled. They struggled out of the gate this season, and so the Bills have been struggling as well. So in this game, I like Jonathan Taylor. I like Michael Pittman Jr. and Alec Pierce. I'm going to call Pittman low-end 1, high-end 2. I'm going to call Pierce a low-end 2. I'm going to call Pierce a 2 at wide receiver because he's been doing some good things. I like Tyler Warren as well. I told you that rookie tight end was going to be somebody to look out for. Pat Mahomes is worth starting in the game. Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce. I'm going to call Rice a 2. I'm going to call Worthy a 3. Isaiah Pacheco, questionable with a knee MCL injury. God willing, he'll be okay. Elijah Mitchell, Brashard Smith, as well as Kareem Hunt are all involved. If I had to pick one catching out of the backfield, I'm going to give Kareem Hunt a little bit more here as a running back and as a receiver, so I'm going to call him a 2 in this matchup, but I think there's some good things in this game. This might be the game of the week. Let's go to Seattle at Tennessee, both teams in 2 different places. Seattle under Sam Darnold's doing some good things. Man, these former Jets quarterbacks are winning elsewhere, which makes you wonder about the Jets and their organization. So, God willing, they'll get things figured out. But looking at the Seattle Seahawks, 7-3 on the season. Playing Tennessee, this might be the week you play Sam Darnold with some guys being off and because of the matchup. So I do think he's a QB1 this week. I like Kenneth Walker the third in this game. Zach Charbonnet may be involved, so you might want to handcuff this week. I'm going to call Walker a 1. I'm going to call Charbonnet a low-end 1, high-end 2 because of the matchup. Jackson Smith and Jigba is worth the play, so is Rashid Shaheed and Cooper Kupp. And you might want to look at playing A.J. Barner in this game as well because they're playing Tennessee. As far as who to play for Tennessee, if you want to flex out a Tajay Spears or Tony Pollard, you can do that. They have Alec Iomanner on the injury report, questionable with a hamstring, and you have Shamir Dyke with a chest injury, has left him questionable. And then, maybe they go to Chig Okonkwo, their tight end, or Van Jefferson, but if you're going to play anybody for Tennessee, I'd say Tony Pollard or Tajay Spears to flex out. And Okonkwo, if you need a tight end and you got somebody off or injured, not the worst bet you can have, but it's a tough road to hoe for Tennessee this season. Let's go to Jacksonville at Arizona. Like I told you, Jacksonville has been up and down. That's what I said in the first part of the show with Ross Turetsky. They've beaten some really good teams, and then they've lost games that have made you sit there and go, how do you give up 26 unanswered points to a backup quarterback? But I do, in that statement, want to say that I do like Davis Mills, and I liked him coming out of Stanford. In this game, I like Trevor Lawrence in the matchup. I'm going to call him a QB1. I'll temper my expectations. I'll call him a mid-range QB1 in this matchup. But I like Travis Etienne. I like LaQuint Allen Jr. as a flex out with Bajal Tutin questionable with an ankle injury because they may not put him out there if they don't have to. So God be with him and his health, as well as Brian Thomas Jr. getting better from his ankle injury. But I like Jacoby Myers as a possession receiver. I like Jacoby in this game. I'm going to call him a wide receiver 2. I'm going to call Parker Washington a flex out, a low end 2, high end 3, Tim Patrick a 3 at wide receiver. I like LaQuint as a flex, Travis Etienne as a 1, Trevor Lawrence as a 1 because they're going on the road to Arizona. But Arizona, being the enigma they are, does have some good games against teams that you would think are going to beat them. So Marvin Harrison Jr. with an appendix injury, God willing, he's okay. He'll be out for this game, which leaves the door open even more so to Trey McBride and Michael Wilson. And Zonovan Knight or Amari Demercado is out in this game. So Bam Knight, Zonovan Knight might get the nod here. But if I had to pick, I'd say Trey McBride as a 1 at tight end, Michael Wilson as a sneaky flex player for you that might be able to help you out this week. Let's go to a game of two teams that haven't been great. Cleveland's won some games, and they've looked okay at times. Shedeur Sanders is going to have his first start. Great time to have your first start when you're playing the Raiders that are not doing a good job by any stretch of the imagination. Of course, I'm not stealing the way that the Raiders are set. I always give love to Chris Berman, a man who I got to meet and thank for what he's done in his career, and had a wonderful conversation with somebody that I consider one of my favorite broadcasters of all time, so a God bless to him. Quinshad Judkins is worth the play in this game. Dylan Sampson would be a sneaky flex, but I like Judkins, I like Jerry Jeudy, and I like Harold Fannin Jr. David Njoku questionable with a knee injury, so watch that. Dylan Gabriel, the concussion, so Shedeur Sanders will get the start in this game, and if he's going to go off, this is a perfect place to do it, like I said, in Vegas, and Vegas takes all those bets. I'd be betting on the Browns in this one if I had to do it, but I'm not going to tell you how much to bet because I don't want to be responsible for that. And if you have a gambling problem, make sure that you call their hotline and do not waste a moment on that. So the gambling problem hotline, just so you know, if you do have a gambling problem, 1-800-522-4700. That's 1-800-522-4700. Ashton Jeanty, I mean, they haven't been able to move this ball with this offensive line. And like they talked about in the game against the Cowboys on Monday night, the line just having people go right through it. If you had to play anybody, I would say Ashton Jeanty. I'm going to call him a low-end 2 running back. Brock Bowers, Trey Tucker are your best bets in the receiving core. And because Cleveland hasn't been all that good, so I'd look to either one of them. And, I mean, I'm still going to call Brock a 1 because of all that he can do. But, I mean, how long are they going to do this Geno Smith thing is a question to be asked. And, you know, can he get the ball out there? Trey Tucker did have late good things happening on Monday Night Football that was able to get in the end zone. So I do like Trey Tucker in this game. If I had to pick any of their wide receivers, they don't have Jacoby Myers anymore. So it goes to Trey Tucker and obviously their best receiver, who's their tight end, and that being Brock Bowers. In the most recent loss at home to the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, 33-16, Brock and Trey led the team. Brock had 12 targets, 7 catches, 72 yards. Trey had 8 targets, 4 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. So I'm going to stick with that, and the numbers show it, even in that bad game that they played, that they came on a little bit later against the Cowboys. And speaking of the Cowboys, Eagles at the Cowboys, let's get into this game inside of the NFC East, a big-time matchup here with implications for the Eagles that are trying to be the best team in the NFC, where the Cowboys are trying to find something and hustle together somewhat of a season as they are 4-5-1. They have the tie with Green Bay, the only tie of this NFL season. I like Jalen Hurts. I like Saquon Barkley. I like Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert. Dallas could have drafted Dallas, but Philly traded up in that draft to draft Dallas right before Dallas, which was kind of slap in the face of a team that obviously they're not big fans of. So Philly, I would say, I gave you their side. On Dallas's side, the home team, Javonte Williams, I'm going to call him a running back too. I like him. He's done well since coming over from Denver. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson. You like to think that this is going to be a back and forth game. Dallas, outside of playing Arizona, was able to get to 40 points or more in their home games. Let's see if they can do it against Philly. This may be a low-scoring game, but I would look for this to be an exciting game. Hopefully it will. It's either going to be a blowout by the Eagles or it's going to be exciting here. Now, the Cowboys lost to the Eagles on the road 24-20 in the first game of the season. Let's see how they do in this matchup with everything coming up here. But like I said, I like a bunch of the Eagles, but I also like a bunch of the Cowboys. And Javonte Williams had 54 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns in the last game. CeeDee Lamb, 13 targets, 7 catches, 110 yards. Pickens, 3 catches on 4 targets, 30 yards. Jake Ferguson, 5 catches on 6 targets, 23 yards. For Dallas, on the other side, Dallas Goedert, 7 targets, 7 catches, 44 yards. Saquon caught 4 of 5 out of the backfield. Saquon had a rushing touchdown. Jalen Hurts had 2 rushing touchdowns, even though he did not throw a passing touchdown. So a lot of the people that I named for you were involved fantasy-wise in the first bout that they have. And hopefully this will be a good game. Like I said, I think it's either going to be a Philly blowout or it'll be a close game. I don't know if there's going to, I don't see a Dallas blowout. And now that I've said that, let's see what, but I don't think that's going to happen. Let's go to Atlanta at New Orleans. New Orleans has not had themselves a good season. Atlanta has had a season that has been very much like a roller coaster, the true peaks and valleys of a roller coaster. And Michael Penix Jr. has an ACL injury that's put him on injury reserve. So we're over to Kirk Cousins now. So I'm going to still say Bijan Robinson. Drake London is doubtful for this game, God willing. They'll all be okay, including Penix and London. Matt Bergeron from Syracuse, the left guard, is questionable with an ankle injury. So note that for the backup quarterback and the rushing attack. But if I had to go anywhere, I'd probably say Bijan Robinson. I'm going to temper my expectations of Kyle Pitts, probably call him a tight end too, since he wasn't utilized as much with Cousins as I think he was and has been with Penix, who I think involved this offense guys a lot more. I think Penix becoming the starting quarterback, my prediction was he was going to make this entire offense look better and fantasy have more value in the Falcons players. And that has happened, I think, and multiple times this season. It just hasn't been consistent, but it's been better than it was under Cousins. I think this is maybe a Mooney game. Maybe you flex him out, but Bijan Robinson is your safest bet. Then I would say Mooney. Then I would say Pitts, just because I don't really feel like Pitts had a lot when Kirk Cousins was the quarterback. Tyler Shuck, the quarterback of New Orleans. Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Jawan Johnson. I mean, you can look to these guys that most recently for the Saints, who have been very underwhelming at 2-8 this year. They're going to have one of the top picks in the draft. And what do? Do they go after a quarterback? I still think their quarterback situation was wide open going into the season. I feel like it's still open. And I predicted that they would not play one quarterback for the whole year, that there would be a different guy coming in, and there has been. Olave and Jawan Johnson scored most recently in the big-time win on the road against Carolina, who has been a good team at times this year, but has also made you question things, and Alvin Kamara did a good job. So the 3 guys I told you against better competition in Carolina, I'm going to say that you should play those guys in this game as well for New Orleans. We'll take a step aside for our final fast break inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios before we do Sunday and Monday Night Football. Thank you for being with us in the Fantasy Football Power Hour NFL Week 12 of the 2025-26 season, proudly presented by our wonderful team at the Wildcat Sports Pub that proudly has our Central New York Fantasy Football Leagues of 8+ years.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily?
Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvalite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvalite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Find the wonderful home of being a big kid. No matter what your age is, your kid's spirit, that wonderful flame is fanned at GG Cards and Breaks because it's run by people who have that big kid spirit. So they know all about keeping that alive here in our community. Memories are made at GG Cards and Breaks with the sports teams and players you love, as well as the games and characters you love. You could find it all at GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. And, of course, visit them Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and on Sundays from 10 to 5. As well as Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. You could find Chick-fil-A with the peppermint chip shake and more as we head into the holiday season. Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, the building you can't miss, the giant brick double drive-through building. Order on the app, go inside or in the drive-through. Visit Megan Sorber and her team. She got connected to Chick-fil-A when she was a student in school, working there as a team member, and now she's hiring and bringing in her team members, which are students in our high schools and colleges in the community of Central and Upstate New York. And what better person to train students and student athletes working at Chick-fil-A in DeWitt than somebody who knows what it's like to live in that world and to have that journey. Thanks to Megan Sorber and her team. Visit them on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard today at Chick-fil-A. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, before we get to Sunday and Monday Night Football in the Fantasy Football Power Hour, NFL Week 12 of the 2025-26 season, inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, and of course, the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. Caleb said to me, Bijan or Gibbs for the rest of the season? I mean, that's not a fair question. I mean, with Michael Penix down, I'm going to say Gibbs if I had to pick. So between the two, Caleb and Caleb, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't. But Caleb, I would say if you're making me choose, I don't like these rest of the season questions because what if somebody gets hurt, right? Or what if like a quarterback changes or something like that, like in the case of Atlanta. But I'm going to say Gibbs over Bijan as of right now is what I will say. But I appreciate the question, Caleb. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's go to Sunday Night Football, Tampa at LA. This is the Baker Bowl, baby, because before Baker came to Tampa, he resurrected his career in LA when he left being a Brown. I like Baker Mayfield in this game. I also like Emeka Egbuka. I like Tez Johnson as a flex out wide receiver. Bucky's got a shoulder injury. Sean Tucker went buck wild. I told you I thought he'd get involved in that game, and involved he did. I like Sean Tucker in this matchup. I'm going to call him a running back 2, the Syracuse single season leading rusher when it comes to yards. And of course, Chris Godwin also is out here, which is very unfortunate. Hopefully things will be okay with him, and I'm hoping that things get better. He has a lower leg injury, so just monitor that. And I look for Cade Otton in the matchup as well, but I'm going to call him a tight end 2, low end 1, high end 2. In this matchup, I like Matty Stafford to go out here. I like this Sunday night. Kyron Williams, I like Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. I think there's a lot of fantasy value in the Sunday night football game. And let's hit our last game here. Monday night football. Let's jump right into it. And here for Monday night, the game that we have is going to be interesting. Carolina at San Fran. You got to imagine that this was not the original plan, right? I mean, Carolina's been playing pretty well, and so has San Fran. Carolina is 6-5 and trying to be a playoff team, trying to win the NFC South, if for nothing else. And the San Francisco 49ers are trying to win the NFC West with a record of 7-4. 2-1 in the South Division, the Panthers are, and 4-1 in the West Division, the Niners are. Two teams that could see each other in the playoffs. I like Rico Dowdle and Teteroa McMillan in this game. Xavier Legette, he has a hip injury. He's questionable, so monitor that. But I'd say Teteroa and Rico Dowdle are your best bet for Carolina. On San Francisco's side, Brock Purdy is back. I like CMC, Jawan Jennings. I'm going to give some love to George Kittle and a little Ricky Pearsall as well to put out there in this game. So with that being said, the Denver Broncos, as well as the Chargers, the Dolphins, and the Commanders are all off. Make a note of that. If you're watching this video on playback and you have a question, make sure to send it to us on our social media channels. Send me a direct message on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. Want to thank you for being with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, our internet streaming radio. Once we go live, we jump into the archive. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Thanks to our incredible team of Central and Upstate New York partners, Great Lakes, Honda City, Carvel, DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Brakes, Myers Creek, both locations, 33 Rippleton Road in Cazenovia, out in the country, and in the Syracuse Inner Harbor by all things around the city, and located to so many major highways, the Thruway, and more on 720 Van Rensselaer Street in the Syracuse Inner Harbor. Big time shout out as well to Chick-fil-A Cicero, Jim Sikowski and the team. An all new episode of The Light Between Us is airing now, and you can find it on youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Mon Paz, the snack capital of the world. Get your snacks there for Thanksgiving. And, of course, Mother's Cupboard, where I was yesterday, breaking bread with Nolan Cass of Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse Admissions and their sports information director. You can get my sandwich, the Q-Smack Mother, 7 days a week by going to 3709 James Street in Syracuse, New York, from 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. every day at Mother's Cupboard. Many thanks to Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Brian's Landing Avocoles, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. Find the Bobcats every month with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni, including my picture I took with the guys at the Dome yesterday. Shout out to TJ and to DeCourcy. You can find them playing tonight at Allen Hall at 6 p.m. here on Wednesday, November 19th for Bryan and Stratton men's basketball with their Syracuse team, and you can find men's and women's basketball playing throughout this season at Allen Hall on OCC's campus. You can find all of our content on youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. You will also find the Bobcats on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage, and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Bryan Find the Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining us throughout the year. Find it all on youtube.com/Wake Up Call DT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Find the Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab for more information. Go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Laser Lounge, student athletes, coaches, and administration joining me all throughout the year. Every other Wednesday. The next time you'll see them is Wednesday, November 26th, the day before Thanksgiving at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And make sure you find all of our Laser Lounge content by going to youtube.com/Wake Up Call DT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Find the OCC playlist. The Lasers are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab for more information. Go to onondagalazers.com and go Lasers. I want to thank Ross Turetsky for hour number 1. I want to thank the Wildcat for our fantasy football content, proudly sponsoring that. And, of course, the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Head to Great Lakes Honda City Monday through Saturday for sales and service, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York, and always GreatLakesHondaCity.com. For now, God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk to you soon, and have a great day.